There's almost nothing better than watching Trump panic as he watches senators find out that his big beautiful bill has more poison pills than Heaven's Gate. But the MAGA cult seems hell-bent on passing it before July 4th. And now even Republicans are sounding the alarm on the floor of the Senate about some deadly provisions you might not have heard about yet. After bashing Tom Tillis for speaking out about the Medicaid cuts, the senator decided not to seek re-election, which Trump celebrated here. Great news. Senator Tom Tillis will not be seeking re-election. But he also posted a little warning here for all cost-cutting Republicans, for which I am one. Yeah, right. Remember, in all caps, you still have to get re-elected. Don't go too crazy. We will make it up 10 times with growth, more than ever before. But this might have actually been better for Tom Tillis, who now finds himself unshackled from the Republican Party. And he's using this newfound freedom to call out his Republican colleagues on an issue that you might not have heard about yet: electricity costs. A Democratic senator from Hawaii, Schatz, has been trying to bring attention to this issue as well. I'll show you what Tillis said, and then we'll dive into the specifics and see how this will immediately raise your electricity costs.
Mr. President, I'm here to talk about the production tax credit and the investment tax credit, though. It's another classic example where think tanks and people that haven't worked a day in business are setting policy in the White House without a clue about what they're potentially doing to our grid. A lot of people probably, I had Alex Weinstein, who is a self-described philosopher and expert in this area, in my office, talking with 3 people, practitioners that actually work in it. One of them is someone who specializes in power purchase agreements for large businesses. Walmart's one of the most sophisticated buyers of electrons in the world. They map out their power requirements years in advance. They want to make sure that their food doesn't spoil and they got power running. They've already made several power purchase agreements with projects underway, folks. And this bill is basically gutting it. Instead, and everybody's high-fiving. What's amazing to me, Mr. President, is the mark that we laid down the other day almost achieved the same level of cuts of the House bill within $30 billion. Within $30 billion. And instead of thinking that was progress, somebody got cute and decided to take away in construction and put it in service. Let me tell you why this is disingenuous. I was a partner at Price Waterhouse, worked in the utilities practice, large utilities like TECO, Duke, Florida Progress, AEP. I know this industry. I understand base load. I understand peaking, and I understand this technology, which is increasingly becoming viable because of storage as a part of augmenting base load. Well, now we've got the Walmarts and all of these data centers and everything that we want to bring back on shore, putting in these power purchase agreements teed to these projects like solar in particular, like wind and other innovative, renewable natural gas, methane, hydrogen. I can go on.
Now, Tom does a good job explaining the capitalist argument to his colleagues, because dollar signs for corporations like Walmart are the only thing that seems to get through to them. But the senator from Hawaii, Schatz, did a much better job at breaking down exactly why your electricity bill is going to go up significantly for the next 10 years because of this bill. Check it out.
So let's look at some of the numbers here in terms of the impact of this bill. This bill will kill 300,000 jobs in wind and solar per year. We're going to lose out on $450 billion in capital as thousands of projects go under. And because of that, we're going to generate about 500 gigawatts less energy in the next decade. Now, there was a time, and I lived through it as a politician, there was a time when people who wanted to take climate action had to argue for that climate action because it is a planetary emergency, and there were trade-offs. And people on the other side said, look, as we try to take action to deal with this planetary crisis, we can't create shortages, we can't increase prices, we can't impede economic progress. All that has flipped. This bill will create shortages. This bill will impede economic progress. This bill will increase prices. The 500 gigawatts less energy in the next decade is pretty much exactly the amount of energy that we're going to need to meet rising demand. We are going to have energy shortages as a result of this legislation. And you don't have to love clean energy or be an environmentalist, and I love clean energy and I'm an environmentalist. But you don't have to care about the climate. I think you should. You don't have to care about the climate to understand that this is a basic question of supply and demand. Energy demand is soaring for the first time in decades, largely, not exclusively, but largely because of AI data centers. And our best chance of meeting it in the next few years is with wind and solar, not oil and gas. Even nuclear and geothermal are going to take a while. That is not just a political talking point or a preference of mine. It's just a fact that gas turbines are stuck in a years-long backlog. It's also a fact that 80% of the new capacity on the grid last year came from solar and storage. It's growing, it's cheap, it works. And there are hundreds more projects that are in the pipeline waiting to be hooked up. So the idea that we're going to kill the only energy that can be brought online in the short run, the very same week that half the country was melting in a record heat wave, which left tens of thousands without power, is beyond absurd. Let's talk about how this bill does all of this damage. Specifically, it creates an impossible deadline for projects to be operational in order to claim the clean energy tax credits. Remember, these clean energy tax credits are federal law. They're on the books. So when you have a federal statute, it is not unreasonable as an investor to say, look, I got this tax credit, I'm going to get X percent back for my initial investment, and you do the pro forma, you do the underwriting, and you figure out that the thing pencils out. And now what they're saying is that you got to be operational in 60 days. If anyone has even built a deck in their front yard or tried to do an extension, nothing gets built in 60 days, certainly not a clean energy project. And it has to be placed in service. What does placed in service mean? It means not only do you have to have the thing built, you have to have a power purchase agreement through your Public Service Commission or Public Utilities Commission. You have to have a deal in place in the next 60 days after enactment, or you get nothing. So imagine you're a company investing in a solar or battery storage project. You've already put money down. You've secured land and a power purchase agreement, and you're working on permits. And when you started the project, the tax code said you could claim a credit to cover the upfront costs. Now, unless you are fully operational, you're out of luck. On average, a project takes 4 years to go through the full process. So even if you've already started that progress, you now have very, very little time to get it done. We are going to strand hundreds of billions of dollars in capital. And so the impact on price is going to be crazy. The impact on jobs is going to be crazy. But the impact on America as an investable proposition is the most dangerous part of this. 21 House Republicans are worried about an energy crisis imposed by the Republican Congress. It goes on. This is especially true for energy credits with direct pass-through benefit to ratepayers, where such repeals would increase utility bills the very next day. Would increase utility bills the very next day. This is not me, progressive senator from the state of Hawaii, who has made a career out of fighting climate change. This is 21 House Republicans saying, like, we're going to create a crisis here. Maybe we shouldn't pass this thing. A lot of this stuff benefits us. If we're all out here talking about all of the above, why are we cutting off our nose to spite our face just because someone wants a talking point? Like, people are literally going to lose their jobs immediately upon enactment. America is going to become a very challenging place to make major investments in immediately upon enactment. The AI industry may move abroad immediately upon enactment. And prices will go up pretty much right away as well. This is the worst piece of legislation for the planet in the history of our country, and it's not even close. Republicans are effectively codifying big oil's wish list into law without exception. They are killing clean energy. They are subsidizing coal. They are dramatically expanding oil and gas leasing. They are purposely jacking up energy prices and creating shortages. And for what? Partially, it's to find enough savings to shovel tens, if not hundreds, of thousands of dollars into the pockets of individual billionaires. But even kicking more than 16 million people off of health care coverage, denying food to the poor, and adding almost $5 trillion to the national debt was not enough. States like Hawaii will continue to do everything that they can to protect our environment, and the rest of the world will move on without us, because doing nothing in the face of this worsening crisis is simply not an option. But make no mistake, what Congress is doing today will cost all of us in the years and decades to come.
And of course, as has become all too common in the Trump administration, government employees are speaking anonymously about the dangers of this bill. Here's some reporting by The Driller. DOE employees speak anonymously, cautioned that the cuts and deregulation would raise energy costs, noting reports suggesting households could see a 7% increase in utility bills and a $230 rise in annual costs by 2035. One worker lamented the elimination of efficiency rules, stating the impact of energy efficiency can really be life-changing. Every dollar matters. And that wasn't just one person speaking out. There are studies to back this up. Several studies have confirmed eliminating clean energy incentives, specifically 48E investment and 45Y production tax credits, could increase electric costs for the average American. A report from Clean Energy Buyers Association estimates that the electric bill for a family could increase by $110 per year on average. I mean, there are a lot of problems with the big beautiful bill, but if Mamdani's campaign showed us anything, it's that focusing on kitchen table issues like your electricity bill is the most effective way to reach people across the political spectrum. Democrats need to jump on this specific talking point. Your electricity bill will go up immediately, and it will continue to go up for the next 10 years. That sentence right there is enough to send shockwaves across the country, because all Americans know what paying an electricity bill is like, and nobody wants expensive energy. Well, of course, except for the oil and gas barons who currently have their boots deep down our politicians' throats. And if this goes through, then Trump causing an energy crisis while screaming "drill, baby, drill" will be the last thing that all of us see before the lights go out. I'm Tony Hinderman with Really American, and I'll catch you next time.